And so what else is he doing here if it's not community building or community development? Because he's quite explicit about it not being that. And he talks about wanting to create place. He talks about wanting to create ecstatic moments, right? What a beautiful concept, and that he really does quite beautifully. And he talks about just wanting to be a good neighbor. And he wanted to have a place where he could invite other people that he liked to hang out, and where people would maybe like to hang out, just because he wanted to look at it. He wanted to look at something nicer. And what this opens up, this idea of being a good neighbor, how can we think about being together or being with each other if we're not making up for the lacks or the kind of, violent cultural dispossessions and economic and monetary dispossession? Well, Fred Moten and Stefano Harney, they talk about fugitive publics, which is about being together in bad debt, right? Not paying back your debts or not expecting that somebody else is paying back your debts, because actually it's impossible to pay back debts. And rather than thinking, okay, how can we pay back that bad debt? Or how can I give back to my community? Or how can I expect that somebody's gonna pay back the impossible debts? What about living in that bad debt? What about staying in one place? What about not leaving? What about being a good neighbor? That means not building something, but instead being open to something, or opening to something, right? That it's about kind of radical hospitality, a hospitality to what may come, the thing that may come. And I think that this is not a community that Theaster's work is building, but a kind of, but a good neighborliness, an opening to what may come that isn't necessarily community. It's not necessarily something recognizable. It's an opening. So I think that what I sort of want to sit with, or get us to sit with, is the thought of having an opening to bad debt rather than credit, rather than giving back, rather than building. Just a kind of opening that I think Theaster's work does really, really quite beautifully.